Organizational power and organizational politics. Definition of power: the ability to influence others to get what you want. Case in the point: the use and abuse of organizational power, the rise and fall of Rajat Gupta. Organizational power, when used responsibly, can drive a company to unprecedented heights, fostering innovation, growth, and ethical practices. However, when abused, it can lead to catastrophic outcomes, not only for the individual wielding the power but also for the organization and its stakeholders. The case of Rajat Gupta, the former managing director of McKinsey & Company, is a compelling example of how the misuse of power can lead to a precipitous fall from grace. Rajat Gupta's rise to power. Rajat Gupta's story is one of remarkable success. Born in India, Gupta graduated from the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology and later from Harvard Business School. He joined McKinsey & Company in 1973, where he quickly rose through the ranks. In 1994, he became the first non-American to lead the firm as its managing director, a position he held until 2003. During his tenure, Gupta was widely respected for his leadership, vision, and ability to navigate complex global markets. He played a pivotal role in expanding McKinsey's influence worldwide, particularly in emerging markets like India and China. Under his leadership, McKinsey grew significantly, solidifying its reputation as one of the world's leading consulting firms. Gupta's success extended beyond McKinsey. He served on the boards of several major corporations, including Goldman Sachs, Procter & Gamble, and American Airlines. The temptation and abuse of power. Gupta's accomplishments brought him significant influence and access to the highest echelons of global business and politics. However, it was this very access and the sense of invulnerability that led to his downfall. The turning point came in 2012 when Gupta was convicted of insider trading, a crime that shook the corporate world. The charges against Gupta were linked to his relationship with Raj Rajaratnam, the head of the Galleon Group hedge fund. Gupta, using his position on the board of Goldman Sachs, provided Rajaratnam with confidential information, including details about Warren Buffett's $5 billion investment in Goldman Sachs during the 2008 financial crisis. Rajaratnam used this information to make illicit trades, reaping millions in profits. Gupta's actions were a clear abuse of the power and trust bestowed upon him. By leaking sensitive information, he violated not only legal boundaries but also the ethical standards expected of someone in his position. His behavior demonstrated a profound disregard for the responsibilities that come with organizational power. The consequences and lessons learned. The consequences of Gupta's actions were severe. In 2012, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison, fined $5 million. The consequences and lessons learned. The consequences of Gupta's actions were severe. In 2012, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison, fined $5 million, and stripped of his prestigious board positions. His reputation, once sterling, was tarnished beyond repair. McKinsey, too, suffered collateral damage as the scandal cast a shadow over the firm's culture and governance practices. Gupta's downfall serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of abusing organizational power. It underscores the importance of ethical leadership and the need for robust governance structures within organizations to prevent the misuse of power. The case highlights how easily power can corrupt, especially when individuals begin to see themselves as above the law or beyond ethical scrutiny. Rajat Gupta's rise and fall illustrate the dual nature of organizational power. When used with integrity and responsibility, it can lead to great achievements and lasting positive impact. However, when abused, it can result in disgrace, legal repercussions, and a lasting stain on one's legacy. The key lesson from Gupta's story is that power must be exercised with a deep sense of ethical responsibility, transparency, and accountability. Only then can organizations and their leaders ensure that power serves the greater good rather than personal greed. Bases of power. Bases of power in organizational behavior. In the realm of organizational behavior, understanding the concept of power is crucial as it directly impacts leadership effectiveness, team dynamics, and organizational outcomes. Power, in this context, refers to the capacity of an individual or group to influence the behavior, attitudes, and actions of others. French and Raven's seminal work in 1959 outlined 5 distinct bases of power: legitimate, reward, coercive, expert, and referent. Each base plays a unique role in shaping organizational behavior and offers different pathways for leaders to exert influence. Legitimate power is derived from a person's position within an organization. It is the formal authority granted to an individual by virtue of their role, allowing them to make decisions, allocate resources, and enforce rules. For instance, a CEO has legitimate power to set company strategies and make high-level decisions. This form of power is effective when subordinates recognize and accept the authority figure's right to command. However, it can be limited if the leader fails to establish credibility or if their decisions are perceived as unjust. Case in point. T. V. Narendran, the CEO and Managing Director of Tata Steel, exemplifies legitimate power through his role and position within the organization. As the head of one of India's largest steel companies, his authority is derived from the formal structure of the organization, granting him the power to make decisions, set strategies, and influence the company's direction. His leadership is supported by his extensive experience in the steel industry and his proven track record of success. Employees and stakeholders respect and follow his directives because they recognize his legitimate role and the responsibilities it entails. Reward power stems from the ability to distribute rewards that others find valuable. These rewards can be tangible, such as salary increases, bonuses, and promotions, or intangible, such as praise, recognition, and increased responsibility. Leaders who effectively use reward power can motivate employees to achieve higher performance levels. However, over-reliance on this power base can lead to a transactional relationship where employees work only for rewards, potentially diminishing intrinsic motivation and long-term commitment. Case in point. An employee stock ownership plan, ESOP, serves as a powerful example of reward power within a company. By offering employees ownership stakes through stocks, the company not only motivates but also rewards them for their contributions to its success. This reward system aligns employees' interests with the company's goals, fostering a sense of ownership and commitment. Some of the companies offering the highest and most attractive employee stock ownership plans, ESOPs, and employee stock purchase plans, ESPPs, in 2024 include large tech firms like Apple, Salesforce, Adobe, Tesla, and Intel. These companies typically offer a 15% discount on stock purchases, with features like look-back periods that maximize potential gains for employees. For ESOPs specifically, large companies like Publix Supermarkets and Penmax Staffing are well known for their substantial employee ownership structures, with Publix being the largest employee-owned company in the US. Coercive power is the opposite of reward power and is based on the ability to administer punishments or sanctions. It involves the use of threats, discipline, or other forms of negative reinforcement to influence behavior. While coercive power can be effective in ensuring compliance, especially in situations where rules must be strictly enforced, it often creates an environment of fear and resentment. Overuse of coercive power can lead to low morale, high turnover, and a toxic organizational culture, undermining the overall effectiveness of the leader. Case in point. Nestlé's exploitation serves as a prime example of coercive power, a base of power that relies on the threat of punishment or the use of force. The company has been criticized for unethical practices, such as sourcing cocoa from regions where child labor and poor working conditions prevail. Nestle's dominance in the market allows it to impose low prices on suppliers, who have little choice but to comply due to economic dependency. This creates a power imbalance, where Nestle wields coercive power to maintain control over the supply chain, often at the expense of workers' rights and welfare. Expert power arises from an individual's knowledge, skills, and expertise in a particular area. This form of power is highly influential, as others rely on the expert's judgment and advice to make informed decisions. For example, a seasoned engineer in a tech company may wield significant expert power due to their deep understanding of complex systems. Expert power is most effective when the knowledge is highly relevant to the tasks at hand and when the expert is willing to share their expertise. However, it can be limited if the expertise becomes outdated or if others in the organization fail to recognize its value. Case in point. Muhammad Yunus exemplifies expert power through his pioneering work in microfinance. As an economist and social entrepreneur, Yunus leveraged his expertise to address poverty by providing small loans to the underserved, fostering economic independence and growth. His deep understanding of economics and social systems allowed him to design a model that transformed traditional banking methods, demonstrating how targeted financial assistance can empower individuals and stimulate local economies. Yunus' success with Grameen Bank not only showcased his intellectual acumen but also established him as a leading authority in microfinance. His approach has influenced global financial systems and inspired countless initiatives aimed at reducing poverty. Referent power is based on personal characteristics and the ability to attract others and build loyalty. Leaders with referent power are often charismatic, likable, and admired by their followers. This power base is closely linked to personal relationships and the emotional connections that leaders establish with others. It can be particularly potent in shaping organizational culture and driving change, as people are more likely to follow leaders they respect and identify with. However, the effectiveness of referent power depends heavily on the leader's integrity and consistency. Any perceived breach of trust can quickly erode this power base. Case in point. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus exemplifies referent power through his role as Director General of the World Health Organization, WHO. Known for his charismatic leadership and dedication to global health, Ghebreyesus has garnered widespread respect and admiration from peers and the public alike. His ability to build relationships and inspire trust has been crucial in mobilizing international support for health initiatives and responding to crises such as the COVID-19 pandemic. Ghebreyesus's commitment to equitable health care and his approachable demeanor have enhanced his influence, enabling him to effectively advocate for global health improvements and foster collaboration among diverse stakeholders. In addition to these 5 bases of power, organizational behavior scholars have identified other forms of power, such as informational power, which is derived from the control over information, and connection power, which comes from an individual's network and relationships within and outside the organization. These additional forms highlight the complex and multifaceted nature of power in organizational settings. The bases of power in organizational behavior are essential tools for leaders to influence, motivate, and guide their teams. However, the effectiveness of these power bases depends on how they are applied and the context in which they are used. Successful leaders recognize the importance of balancing different power bases and using them ethically to foster a positive organizational climate and achieve long-term success. Power tactics. Power tactics in organizational behavior. Power in organizational behavior refers to the capacity of an individual or group to influence others within an organization. This influence can determine the behavior, decisions, and outcomes within the organization. Understanding power tactics is crucial for navigating the complexities of organizational dynamics, as they play a vital role in shaping workplace relationships and achieving objectives. Rational persuasion. One of the most effective and widely used power tactics is rational persuasion. This involves using logical arguments and factual evidence to convince others that a particular course of action is the best one. Leaders often rely on rational persuasion to gain support for their decisions, particularly when proposing new strategies or initiatives. By appealing to reason and presenting well-founded arguments, leaders can align their team's goals with organizational objectives, fostering collaboration and commitment. Inspirational appeals. Inspirational appeals focus on arousing enthusiasm and emotions in others to gain their support. This tactic is often employed by charismatic leaders who can motivate their followers by appealing to their values, ideals, or aspirations. When leaders use inspirational appeals, they tap into the deeper motivations of their employees, inspiring them to work towards a shared vision. This tactic is particularly effective in situations requiring change, where employees might be resistant or uncertain about new directions. Consultation. Consultation involves seeking input and feedback from others before making a decision. By involving others in the decision-making process, leaders can gain buy-in and build a sense of ownership among their team members. This tactic not only helps in gaining support, but also leverages the collective expertise and insights of the group, leading to more informed and effective decisions. Consultation fosters a collaborative environment where employees feel valued and empowered, enhancing their commitment to the organization's goals. Ingratiation. Ingratiation is a tactic that involves using flattery, praise, or friendly behavior to influence others. While this tactic can be effective in building goodwill and rapport, it carries the risk of being perceived as insincere or manipulative if not used carefully. Ingratiation is often employed in situations where an individual seeks to gain favor or smooth over conflicts. When used judiciously, this tactic can help in creating a positive work environment and facilitating cooperation. Coalition tactics. Coalition tactics involve seeking the aid or support of others to influence a target. This could mean aligning with colleagues or forming alliances to strengthen one's position. In organizations, individuals or groups may use coalition tactics to build power bases and exert influence over decision-making processes. This tactic is particularly common in organizations with complex political environments, where power is distributed across multiple stakeholders. By forming coalitions, individuals can amplify their influence and achieve their objectives more effectively. Pressure tactics. Pressure tactics involve using demands, threats, or persistent reminders to influence others. This approach is often seen as a more coercive form of influence and is typically used when an individual needs to ensure compliance or action in a timely manner. However, pressure tactics can lead to resentment and resistance if overused or applied inappropriately. While they may yield short-term results, they can undermine long-term relationships and trust within the organization. Legitimating tactics. Legitimating tactics rely on the authority of one's position or organizational policies to influence others. This tactic involves referencing rules, regulations, or the hierarchy to justify a request or action. Leaders often use legitimating tactics to reinforce their decisions and ensure adherence to organizational standards. However, over-reliance on this tactic can create a rigid and hierarchical culture that stifles creativity and innovation. Power tactics are essential tools in organizational behavior that leaders and employees use to influence others and achieve their objectives. The effectiveness of these tactics depends on the context, the relationships involved, and the skill with which they are applied. Understanding and skillfully employing a range of power tactics can enhance an individual's ability to navigate the complexities of organizational life and drive success. However, it is important to use these tactics ethically and consider the long-term implications of their use on relationships and organizational culture. Politics definition. Definition of organizational politics. Organizational politics refers to the use of power and social networking within an organization to achieve changes that benefit individuals or groups, often at the expense of the organization's goals or other employees. It involves actions that are not officially sanctioned by the organization and can be seen as manipulative or self-serving. Organizational politics can range from simple, everyday influence tactics to more complex maneuvers involving alliances, coalitions, and behind-the-scenes negotiations. Example of organizational politics. Consider a mid-sized company where a senior manager, Jane, wants to secure a promotion. Rather than relying solely on her performance, Jane begins to engage in organizational politics. She starts forming alliances with key decision-makers, such as the HR director and the CEO. Jane strategically shares information with these individuals, selectively highlighting her achievements and downplaying the contributions of her colleagues. She might also subtly undermine competitors for the promotion by casting doubt on their abilities in informal conversations. When it comes time for the promotion decision, Jane's political maneuvering pays off. Despite other candidates possibly being more qualified, she secures the promotion due to her influence over the decision-makers. Factors responsible for organizational politics. Several factors contribute to the prevalence of organizational politics. Scarcity of resources. When resources such as promotions, raises, or desirable projects are limited, competition intensifies. This scarcity often drives individuals to engage in political behavior to secure these limited resources. The desire to be seen favorably by those who control resources can lead to manipulative actions, favoritism, and alliance building. Ambiguity in roles and policies. When roles, responsibilities, and policies are not clearly defined, it creates a gray area where individuals can manipulate situations to their advantage. Ambiguity allows people to interpret policies and rules in ways that benefit them personally. This uncertainty fosters a climate where political behavior can thrive, as there is less accountability and more room for personal discretion. Organizational culture. A culture that rewards or turns a blind eye to political behavior encourages its proliferation. In some organizations, success may be more about who you know rather than what you know, leading employees to focus more on networking and political maneuvering than on performance. If an organization's culture is competitive or hierarchical, employees might feel compelled to engage in politics to advance their careers. Leadership style. Leadership plays a crucial role in either curbing or encouraging organizational politics. Leaders who are perceived as inconsistent, unfair, or biased may inadvertently foster a political environment. When leaders fail to communicate clearly, make decisions transparently, or enforce policies fairly, it can lead to a loss of trust, prompting employees to resort to political behavior to protect their interests. Individual differences. Personal characteristics such as ambition, need for power, and a tendency to engage in self-serving behavior can influence the extent to which an individual engages in organizational politics. Employees who are highly ambitious or who derive satisfaction from wielding power are more likely to engage in political behavior to achieve their goals. Additionally, individuals with strong social skills may be more adept at navigating organizational politics, using their influence to shape outcomes to their benefit. Organizational politics is an inevitable aspect of organizational life, influenced by a variety of factors including resource scarcity, ambiguity, culture, leadership, and individual differences. While organizational politics can sometimes lead to positive outcomes, such as innovation or change, it often results in inefficiencies, reduced morale, and conflict. To manage organizational politics effectively, it is essential for leaders to foster a transparent, fair, and inclusive culture, clearly define roles and responsibilities, and ensure that resources are distributed equitably. By doing so, they can minimize the negative impact of politics on the organization and its members. Political behavior factors. Factors responsible for political behavior in organizational behavior. In the study of organizational behavior, political behavior refers to actions by individuals or groups within an organization that are aimed at gaining power, influencing decisions, or achieving personal objectives. This behavior can be overt or covert and can range from subtle networking to more aggressive tactics like manipulation. Understanding the factors responsible for political behavior is crucial as it can significantly impact organizational efficiency, morale, and culture. Individual factors. One of the primary determinants of political behavior in organizations is the personality and characteristics of individuals. People who are high on traits like Machiavellianism, need for power, and self-monitoring are more likely to engage in political behavior. Machiavellianism, named after the political philosopher Niccolò Machiavelli, refers to a manipulative personality type that believes in using any means necessary to achieve one's goals. Individuals with a high need for power often seek control and influence over others, leading them to engage in political activities to gain or maintain power. Self-monitoring refers to the ability of individuals to regulate their behavior according to external situational factors. High self-monitors are skilled at adjusting their actions to suit the expectations of others, which can lead to more political behavior as they navigate the organizational environment. Organizational factors. The structure and culture of an organization can also play a significant role in fostering political behavior. Organizations with unclear policies, ambiguous roles, or lack of transparency often provide a fertile ground for political activity. When rules and roles are not clearly defined, individuals may resort to political behavior to gain clarity or control. Similarly, organizations that reward results without considering the means used to achieve them may unintentionally encourage political behavior. If employees see that others are rewarded for achieving goals through manipulative or unethical means, they may feel compelled to adopt similar tactics. Organizational culture is another critical factor. In cultures that emphasize competition over collaboration, political behavior is more likely to thrive. When employees view their colleagues as competitors rather than teammates, they may engage in political behavior to gain an advantage. Additionally, in hierarchical organizations where power is concentrated at the top, individuals may use political tactics to climb the organizational ladder or to gain favor with those in positions of authority. Environmental factors. The external environment in which an organization operates can also influence political behavior. Factors such as economic uncertainty, technological changes, and market competition can create a sense of insecurity among employees. In such environments, individuals may engage in political behavior as a means of self-preservation. For example, during periods of economic downturn or organizational restructuring, employees may resort to political tactics to protect their jobs or to position themselves favorably for future opportunities. Additionally, the level of external competition faced by an organization can spill over into internal competition among employees. In highly competitive industries, the pressure to succeed can lead to increased political behavior as employees strive to outperform their peers. Interpersonal relationships. The nature of interpersonal relationships within an organization also plays a crucial role in determining the extent of political behavior. In organizations where relationships are based on trust, openness, and mutual respect, political behavior is likely to be less prevalent. However, in environments characterized by mistrust, rivalry, and a lack of communication, political behavior is more likely to flourish. Individuals in such settings may engage in political behavior to navigate these complex relationships, protect their interests, or gain an advantage over others. Political behavior in organizations is a complex phenomenon influenced by a variety of individual, organizational, environmental, and interpersonal factors. While some level of political behavior is inevitable in any organization, understanding these factors can help leaders and managers create a more transparent, equitable, and collaborative work environment. By addressing the root causes of political behavior, organizations can reduce its prevalence and mitigate its negative effects on organizational performance and employee morale. Organizational politics and impression management. Impression management and organizational politics in the context of organizational behavior. In the realm of organizational behavior, understanding the dynamics of impression management and organizational politics is essential for comprehending how individuals navigate the complexities of workplace interactions. Both concepts are intricately linked, as impression management often serves as a tool for engaging in organizational politics. Together, they play a significant role in shaping the work environment, influencing decision-making processes, and impacting both individual and organizational outcomes. Impression management. Impression management refers to the deliberate effort by individuals to influence the perceptions others have of them. This process involves controlling or shaping information in social interactions to create a desired image. In the organizational context, employees engage in impression management to advance their careers, secure favorable evaluations, and gain influence within the organization. Common tactics include self-promotion, ingratiation, and exemplification. Self-promotion involves highlighting one's achievements, skills, and qualifications to appear competent and capable. Employees might emphasize their contributions to projects or their expertise in specific areas to gain recognition from supervisors or peers. Ingratiation, on the other hand, involves using flattery or conforming to the opinions of others to gain favor. Employees might agree with a supervisor's ideas or offer compliments to build a positive rapport. Exemplification involves demonstrating dedication, moral integrity, or a strong work ethic to be perceived as committed and reliable. For example, staying late at work or volunteering for difficult tasks can be a way to create a favorable impression. Impression management is not inherently negative. When used ethically, it can be a valuable tool for career advancement and maintaining professional relationships. However, it becomes problematic when it involves deception or manipulation, which can lead to distrust and conflict within the organization. The intersection of impression management and organizational politics. Impression management and organizational politics are closely intertwined. Employees often use impression management tactics as a means to engage in organizational politics. For example, an employee who seeks a promotion may engage in self-promotion to highlight their achievements while also aligning with powerful individuals within the organization. By doing so, they not only manage the impressions others have of them but also navigate the political landscape to achieve their goals. Similarly, ingratiation can be used as a political tool to gain favor with key decision-makers. An employee who consistently agrees with a supervisor's opinions or offers compliments may be seen as supportive, which can lead to preferential treatment or opportunities for advancement. Exemplification, when used in a political context, can position an individual as a role model or leader, thereby increasing their influence within the organization. However, the use of impression management in organizational politics can have ethical implications. When employees manipulate perceptions or engage in deceptive practices to achieve political goals, it can lead to a breakdown in trust and a culture of suspicion. This, in turn, can undermine teamwork, collaboration, and overall organizational effectiveness. For more lectures on organizational behavior and other subjects, subscribe to the channel.